Okay, hi, hello. Okay, hello. Um, I feel like the more streams I do, the less I know how to start them. I don't know why. Like, I feel like that would be either the most obvious thing, or at least it's like at the very beginning, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway. Also, I didn't really plan this out super well. I have a couple things in mind that I want to do. Um, The first thing is I do want to start working on a comic, but I don't know if I want to do that on stream because I'm still figuring out like the process that I'm going to use for it because I feel like I want to use like a mix of traditional and digital and maybe like collage or something. Basically, like I'm still figuring out like the ways to set out the panels, so I feel like I'm not really ready to talk about it in like a general sense. I'm more still figuring out like the basic details of like layout and such because I haven't made any sort of comic thing in a very long time. But I think part of the reason I haven't is because like panels feel really restrictive. Like I like having just like the one thing to work on, like or like the one surface. Like I don't mind if that's restrictive, but I don't know, I feel like layout is just like kind of like a the way I'm going to describe this is not going to make any sense, but it's like if you're integrating the idea of canvases into like a larger meta canvas or something. I know that's pretty much nonsense, but that's like the way that made sense to me to describe it in that moment. It's gonna work either way. So I just have like another small like ink drawing, or I have a drawing idea that I also want to do, and then I think I'll put it in ink because it's October and ink just goes with October, even though I'm not like doing an official challenge. Let me look at proportions. Actually, I wanted to do like a dress based on like literally just a cone. But I need to kind of sketch that out first still. And I'm just using like a scrap piece of paper because I feel like if I use scrap paper, honestly, I have usually better results. It's like if I use like a nice piece of paper, I feel like I get worried about it getting ruined or something, or wasting its potential or something, and then somehow that actually makes it worse. But for this, I figured it would be good to just do a scrap piece of paper. And then I'm thinking, regarding the comic, I'm thinking I might do something similar, because my thought is if a lot of my problem is just like getting the panels set up, and like it's not like I can't, or it's not like I don't know how, it's just like I haven't done it enough to like have the flow that feels natural, if that makes sense. Like I still have to think about it a lot. And what I have so far is going to be partly that and partly inking, so I feel like it might not be the best stream because it's just going to be me being like, oh, what do I do next? And I feel like it's already enough like that. Or it doesn't need to be any more like that than it is, because otherwise it's just going to be me with like the little processing symbol or like loading symbol. It's like, oh no, Remy has frozen. Do I end task or wait for a response? Send data report. Where would that data report go? Actually, I guess that would just be like whoever's listed as an emergency contact. If you crash, who gets your data report? Yeah, I feel like that would be. Excuse me. I feel like that's what that would be. I'm also just using a regular HB pencil, or number 2 pencil, instead of starting with something lighter because I don't really care too much about the sketchiness in the background. I actually kind of like it. That's like another thing that, I mean, it depends on what I'm doing, but okay. It's gonna be a little bit strange, so I'm figuring out proportions. It's like the cone or the dress is gonna be literally just a cone, but then like everything else is gonna be normal-ish. And then, oh, I didn't even think about shoes. But to say, I wish I could zoom out a bit, and then I realized I can just look at the screen. So I think this might be a little bit, well, I feel like this might not be quite long enough. If we bring this, let's say bring this up here. And then this will just shift everything else. Why is this table so wobbly? I think this is just like not a very great table, because I know I've definitely assembled it as tightly as I can, but it's still just kind of wobbly. So I think that's a problem with the table and not necessarily how I'm putting it together. Okay, that's probably better. That's one problem I had when I was first, well, I guess when I first learned to draw, it's hard to say that because like hello, good morning, how are you doing today? When I was first learning to draw, I feel like I feel like I've been drawing as long as I can remember, so like first learning, I feel like I was like 3, but then like first started being interested in doing art, I guess, would have been more like 10. So I'm thinking more around like 10 or 11. One problem I had a lot is I would always just start in the middle of the page and then run. I am all right. Sorry I missed Sunday. I feel like my schedule is a little bit weird right now, or I might, I have something like next Thursday. I don't know, it's just weird. Also, I have, I'm trying like a new medication, or it's actually not a new medication, it's just like increased one of my medications, and I'm not sure how that's going yet, so still kind of figuring that out. But like Sunday was just not great. I think I needed more sleep, and I'll just leave it at that because there's not really anything else to say, but I'm hoping that like, I don't know, the tricky thing with like new medications or like specifically like the one we increased was for depression, but I'm bipolar, so like the tricky thing is like it might feel like it's really helping, and then suddenly it will feel like it's very much not helping. And then it just kind of can go back and forth like that, and I have to remember, like at the points where it's feeling better, I have to remember that this is not necessarily a good thing, and it's not necessarily how, they're not necessarily the right solution at the moment. So, but it's also just different because I haven't been, like, I've been on pretty much the same medications for a really long time, or at least pretty close to. So I'm not used to like having to navigate that as an adult. Having medicine weed. That could be an option. Unfortunately, I need to concentrate on things, and I can't really drive or go to work with weed. Although like sometimes people come in smoking it, so it might smell like it occasionally. But if they find out that it's me, I'd probably get fired, so. But also I don't think it's technically I don't know what the legality is because I feel like it keeps shifting, or like it's like there was medicinal, but then like the details of it are still kind of being figured out. I don't know. I haven't really been using it, so I haven't kept up super closely. But I don't know where to get any if I would want it. Like I could probably find someone, but I don't know what my options are. And I think I did run out of space for the legs, and I feel like um, I like the size that I was working in though. I guess I could just Oh, I have an idea. Since this isn't going to make much sense, I could just like replace the feet with something. I don't know. I was gonna make like the cone like the main thing, so the rest of it might not make as much sense. Oh, wow. Oh, cool. Wait, are you also bipolar? Or is it just like, I guess part of autism? I guess it can depend on, I don't know how the diagnosis work exactly. For me, it was like two separate things. And like I consider it two separate things just because, like, I don't know, that's how it makes sense for me, I guess. But like I have basically it's like I have a medication for the lows and then a medication for the highs, but then like of course they affect each other, so if one of them needs adjusting, that can throw off everything. And like for the most part things have been working really well, but sometimes it's hard to tell when something's off also because then it's like since I know how it's been when it's like dangerously high or low, like anything short of that kind of feels like either like maybe I'm just feeling really good today, or maybe I'm just not feeling so great today, but it's fine. So it's like I don't realize something's wrong until it's like really wrong. The Oh, hiking is a good idea. I think exercise is certainly a very, very good thing. I'm kind of thinking of going back to my gym at some point. Like there was a gym I used to go to regularly because it's like group classes and such. But then like with COVID, I didn't really feel comfortable with it, and I still don't feel totally comfortable with it. I'm only really considering it because like it's at least for the past couple months, it's been like steadily decreasing and seems okay in our area, but I don't know. It's probably fine, but there's like a bunch of other social aspects also that I'm still figuring out. But exercise is good, and I feel like sometimes it's hard to exercise on my own too, whereas like I feel like most of the time I can convince myself to get on the treadmill because then I can just start slow and it's fine and like gradually work up. But like sometimes I like having something scheduled because then it's like, oh, I have to be at class at this time. Then it's a lot more motivating to go and do it. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, think definitely like I don't know, in general, like I think isolation helps me for maybe like it depends. I feel like it really depends because I feel like I think that's how I like it most of the time for sure. But then like I really liked also having like occasionally or like when I would go to the gym and then it would be like a little bit of social because it's not like I'm really interacting with people that much outside of it. So it was like just enough. Mm, maybe I'll just end into the legs here. So I feel like if I try to put any sort of foot or ankle or something, then it's just going to look awkward if it's not proportional. So I feel like it's better to just cut it off. Oh yeah. Yeah, staying at home, I certainly like that too. So it's like it's good when you enjoy it. It's like I know, especially like when everything first shut down, there was like I was honestly really happy about it because it's like finally I don't actually have to go anywhere, and if anyone asks me to go anywhere, like I can't. So it felt nice to have a reason to. Then I know like some people would be like really anxious after like the first 2 weeks being like I have to go socialize, and like I didn't get that at all, but like I guess I do get that eventually. It's just like it takes like 2 years rather than like 2 weeks. So and even then it's like really small amounts of socializing. Like I think yesterday felt kind of overwhelming at work because like my job is basically just to put books on shelves, but there isn't like a good way to like for customers to tell between like the different roles we have at the library and such. So like they might ask me for help with something and I'll have to either be like I don't know. It's like I can try to help, but it's not technically my job, so it's like I'm happy to help, but I'm also not trained on like using the computers or working with people specifically. So I'm like extra nervous that I'm gonna mess it up, and like thankfully like the other people who work there are usually able to take over because like they understand how that works, but I'm just also the kind of extra like I don't want to make a mistake and then make the library seem bad because like customer service and representing it and all that. But I think it was okay. Or like I'll have trouble if like I don't really understand what they need help with, and I'm like I don't know. I just feel bad because it's like it feels like I'm being rude, but I just want to help. Ooh, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. And yeah, definitely like staying at home was nice. It was kind of Oh, also I see the hydrate. Thank you for hydrate. It was like a sudden a really sudden change though, because that was like literally at the end, like when I graduated college was like when everything shut down. So it's like I was used to being in school for all of my life until then, and then suddenly it's like now you can't go anywhere and you can't easily get a job because it's not safe or they're not open or other things like that. And it was just a little bit awkward, like, well, what do I do now with anything? Oh yeah. That art streams are definitely good. I saw you miscatalog this. That could be. I think the only time, or I don't think they've done that to me. I know when I first got there, like they kind of like quizzed me for like the first week or so, where like I would put a bookmark in all of the things that I put away so that they could check it and like check that it was put away correctly, and then eventually they just stopped and I haven't had any problems, and then if I'm not sure, I ask someone. So that would be funny. Like, what could the consequences be? Yeah, and yeah, exactly. It's like ready to go somewhere, and now what? So, and now it feels kind of awkward too because I know that like everything opened back up before I feel like it was safe, and like I don't know. I don't need to get into all the details because there's still a lot that we don't know and a lot of nuance, and like safety or like feeling how safe it feels is different for everyone. So like I can only really speak for myself, but definitely felt like things opened up faster than I was ready to go do stuff. So now I feel like I'm behind on like getting back into things, even though like I kind of am. I'm just not that social anyway, so it's like I haven't really found like a social circle or anything in real life. But hang you upside down and throw books at you. But no, but then the books would get ruined. Or maybe it's like discarded books, like ones that were already being torn apart. I don't know if there are a lot of those. Eventually, mostly like kids' books or something will kind of start falling apart. Oh yeah, like looking at a reference, I'm actually gonna tilt this head differently. So it's going to be unbalanced either way, I suppose, especially without feet, but yeah, I think the worst that would happen is they might be like, do you remember this actually goes here, okay? Okay. Like I don't know, they're pretty chill. Completed yes. Probably something like that. Or maybe like magazines or something that are out of date, because I know once, like with all the magazines and such, eventually, like they just have like a box for each of the ones that we have subscriptions for, and some of them, especially if they come out like weekly or something, end up getting stuffed, and then we just like throw out all of the old ones. It could be something like that. No, I think it would be the kids' books though, because there are so many of them. Like I feel like there are just always too many of them and we don't have enough space for them, and then they keep printing more of them, and then we get a ton of them, and then I don't have anywhere to put them. And I'm starting to be really annoyed with them, and also like the section's always a mess because like kids will just like take them and put them back wherever, or like push the entire shelf back, or I don't know. Oh no! I can't imagine them burning books though, unless like I think the only time they do that is if it's like if it's decided that it no longer fits like what they want in the library, and then they have like a separate, like I looked into it, there's like a separate thing that they'll send them to first, like to be donated or something, and then if no one takes them from there or something, then they'll throw them out. I don't know exactly how it works, but I'm sure they have a lot that they could do. But honestly, I feel like it's like yeah, I mean, kinda. I think for most other people it is, and that's probably like that's what makes it tricky because I actually like it. So like if they wanted to punish me, I guess maybe make me do like more customer service things, but like they they would want to be sure that like I do a good job with that, so that doesn't really work as a punishment either because there are other people involved. So I don't know. Pre-purgatory. Maybe it's weird. It's like I like organizing. I would want to put like my own bookshelves in order, but I don't have enough space. Like we need to buy a bookshelf at some point. Like we have a couple short ones, but they don't fit all of our books, and then I have like more books at my parents' house that I haven't brought with me yet. But eventually I'd like to just put it all into a collection or something. But uh, you're not Jose. I immediately assumed it was our other cat. The bookshelf had more than 3 books. Yeah, like most of mine, I haven't read a lot recently. Like most of mine, honestly, are things I've read in high school, or like a couple of things here and there since then, or like books that I just know that I like, so I wanted a copy of it. A maze of bookshelves would be really fun. Luigi, what are you doing? She's There's like some paper towel that was, I used it to wrap up some ceramics, but I think she's just eating it. She likes eating tissues. Like, I can't leave tissue boxes out because she'll just like start like picking it up and actually eating it. Like that. You know what? I'm not using that paper towel. If she wants to, she can have it. The weed, exactly. My main concern is just if it's a choking hazard, but like I mean, I guess as long as she doesn't eat too much of it, it should be fine. It's just paper essentially. I'm not as concerned about it. If it's like a small candy wrapper or something, or like a little zip tie or something, I'm like, no. No, I do not want to have to pull that out of your throat. And I'm sure you do not want that either. She's just licking it. She's usually, hang on, no, my head's in the way. She's usually not on stream. I feel like most of the time she's just in another room or guarding the hallway or something, and then our other cat will come interrupt me. So I was surprised that it was her. Okay, for thinking of what I want to do for arms. So I might want to make them kind of mirror the legs in a way of like not having feet. This looks like a Bratz doll when you pop off the feet. That's what it was reminding me of. It's like instead of changing their shoes, like you just replace their feet with different feet. Which I liked because it was easier than like Barbie dolls where you have to actually like fit their shoe on. But I also didn't like it because like if your dolls had different skin colors, then like you couldn't just switch out their feet for like sandals without it being obvious. Ooh. I would love if anything came with dice. I feel like dice is one of those things that I guess I could say I collect it. Like I feel like I'm not like specifically a collector where I'm trying to get like rare or valuable or anything like that, but just like I think dice are fun and I think it's like ooh, shiny, and so I just get ones that I like. And so I have like a few sets of them, but I don't really do a lot with them. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's like there's so many ways to just like stack them and arrange them and they just sound nice and they feel nice and I just like looking at them and some of them are either really shiny and then some of them are glittery. They're just like sensory nice. But then I used to have a D&D group, so I actually did have a use for them at one point, but I think after college, especially after I switched, like I feel like it wasn't COVID that like stopped it for sure, but it was still like around that time where like everyone just kind of continued their lives in different directions. But that was fun. I would potentially like to play again, but I don't know when or where or like what game specifically. There was we were playing like D&D 5e, but it was like a specific or it was like a world that our friend had created pretty much and that we were all working on. So I don't know if I would want to do like a different setting. Um Yes, we She just did a meow. I don't think it probably didn't pick up on the microphone, but I think she wants someone to play. I can I can do that after. I can walk around our apartment, and I was gonna go on the treadmill after maybe, but I guess I can just like drag a stick around and walk everywhere and then she'll chase me. That's like the only way that she really is entertained by anything. It has to be like along the ground. Like as soon as it's flying or in the air, she's just not interested. Guess I could just like extend this arm out. I feel like arms are awkward. Spending a lot of time positioning them, but she also does like not quite meows, but like little chirps. I can't really imitate it super well. It's like a little like trill or something. I feel like she does that a lot. Alright, maybe could have cleared off some desk space for her. I'm packaging things. There's an art show next month, and then there's like an event that I want to sell art at later this month. I still need to hear back about some of the details, but if I'm able to do that, I can bring stuff, so I had to get sleeves for some of the larger pieces. I'm just going through everything. Okay. Art show. So one thing is like more of a performance, but it's actually by like the people at the gym that I used to go to. But they let me sell art there, which is fun. Because I think they also have people selling like clothes and a couple other vendor type things. So I want to set up there, and then after that, it's by like the kind of community art thing or a local arts thing, and it's like another vendor sort of situation, so like people can just set up a booth and sell stuff. I need to check when that is. But yeah. I think the thrift store sounds great. It sounds like nice and consistent too. I maybe need to find something somewhere like that. But for now, it's just finding like small things. I know there used to be, or there have been a couple of shows through like the school that I went to also, but I haven't heard anything recently. So I'm not sure. Well, actually, I think the last one I did at my school was because like they bought the building next to them, so it was kind of like an open party of some sort. Thanks for following. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, there was that, and then there was like an alumni show, but I don't know. I don't think they do that every year. I guess there were a couple things that, yeah. She's trying to steal my pen. No, thanks for stopping by. Let me see if I can grab her. Nope. Nope. No, but she did like eat the corner off of this. Okay, bye. I also bought a bunch of labels, so I'm kind of excited about those. It's literally just like price stickers and then like address labels But I think like I just like stickers and somehow that extends to like labels because it's like, hey, this is like a customizable sticker even though I'm not gonna use it that way. I just like office supplies really. Playing through this. Uh, oh, I could. I'm gonna say I could just cut off the arms if I'm making this like a plane. But also, how do I get it nice and parallel at this angle? Yeah, I could just do something like that. Sirens. Couldn't tell what it was, but probably like an ambulance or something. I feel bad because I get annoyed at how frequent they are, but like I'm basically like, can you please not have your emergency right now? It's too loud. I'm like I can't really. I understand that that's not really something that they're intending to do. And yes. I feel like any store I go to, like if it has an office supply section, I'm like I need to just look at it, even if I'm like picking up prescriptions or something. And even if there's nothing I need, I'm like I just want to look. And then Staples is the best store and I don't go there very often because I'd want to buy everything. Yeah, I wanna make sure this is somewhat kind of parallel. Because I will try to make it look parallel, but it will be off unless I actually measure it. Probably. Actually, this isn't that off, but okay. Or wondering if I should. That's fine. I thought this would be. I also wanted to put this on like scrap paper so I could just kind of play around with it and try to treat this more like a sketch because I think that's something I need to do more. They're just like not plan everything out as much, or at least like I don't know what I'm thinking, but I want to make things that make less sense or that kind of work more like sketches. Trying to get these circles also. Okay. Oh, awesome. Congratulations. Ooh, that's super soon too. That should be really fun. There are so many places I'd like to visit at some point, but that would be very good. I don't know a lot about Norway still, so I'm like I know we talked a little bit about like what you would want to do there and such, but I still don't know about Norway like in general. Like I know where it is, I know it's a country, but I don't know a lot about like the culture or language or anything like that really. I think the closest I know is a little bit about Sweden because I had a friend whose mom was from Sweden and she did live there at some point, but I haven't really followed up, so I'm not sure where she is right now. But oh yeah, it sounds like selling has been going well, so hopefully that won't be a problem. And I like the idea of using up all the supplies. I think that's like one of my favorite, almost like favorite art prompts, even though it's not really an art prompt, just because like sometimes if I'm not sure what to do, I like using what I have as a starting point. Like, oh, okay, I have a canvas that's like covered in oil, but I don't like I'm not doing anything with it or I don't like what's on it, so I could like go over it with oil pastel, but it's like kind of using that as constraints, basically. And also to use all of it, that's gonna be I feel like that would be hard. Or at least for me, I guess also I have some supplies that I definitely use more than others. So it's like I feel like there are some things I could easily use up, but then it's like what am I gonna use crayons for? Like if I were trying to actually go through everything or like a specific color of paint that I've only used for a specific thing to where it's like what do I do with the rest of it? But that feels like a fun challenge. I kind of want to try that, but I also don't want to like use up things too quickly because I don't want to have to get new supplies yet because I'm not going anywhere. Try to put a face on this. I think I have to be a little bit more gentle with the face because like it's harder, not like it's harder to erase, but it's more obvious if it's redrawn a bunch of times. Eyes. Might be too low. I need to, one thing I kind of working on is with like really large eyes, like where do they start? It's almost like if I'm working from just like a point, I can place where the eyes need to be, but then as soon as they get like significantly taller, it's like where does it start and where does it end? I think it's fine. I think I got it, but also, ooh, wow, all of them. That sounds like a lot. Or oh wait, you have a larger canvas too, probably. That's I forgot because I still tend to work pretty small. Even so, though, that's going to be a lot. But that sounds good. I think one of my problems with weirdly anything oil-based, one of my problems is not using enough. I feel like with oil paint and oil pastels, I tend to maybe I'm just like used to watercolors or things that don't need as much, or like with gouache, like I only need to use like a little bit for the most part. But it will be good to be like just use as much as you can. I still have a small canvas that I painted over that I want to use oil pastels actually because I can't really use anything else because I did like part of an oil painting and then decided I didn't like it. So I painted over it in oil and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do over that. But it's like a pretty small canvas, so I feel like anything I think of that I would use oil pastels for, like it might be I'm not sure how to get like fine detail with oil pastels. Oh yeah. That'll be fun. Like that's a lot. That'll be fun. But definitely with oil pastel, it feels like it's good to have more than not enough. This, maybe the eyes are too round. Being, I want to try to add like, or get like more of an anime feel for things because I feel like that's what I used to draw pretty much exclusively when I was younger. But then at some point, I don't know if I just thought like I needed to be more serious about art or something. I don't think there was like a specific reason I didn't do as much anime, but it kind of trended away from that, but I kind of want to not lose that completely. Let me get. It's also kind of nice, like, yeah. Ooh, that's a good idea. Ooh, then okay, now I'm starting to think of things as far as what to use that for, because I was kind of like I also painted mine black, but I wasn't sure what to do. Like, do I cover the entire thing, or if I do something that kind of fades out? Like, what do the edges look like? Should there be edges? Etc., etc. Lots of questions because I think, so I have used oil pastels like a couple times, or a couple times since like I was in middle school, but that was like the last time I can really remember using them. So I've not practiced at all. I forgot I was gonna do lipstick or something. Oh, my grandma also gave me some like powder pastels, like chalk pastels, that I'm not really sure what to do with. I want to do something with them because like they're actually really nice. I don't want to waste them. But it's also like an unfamiliar medium. Mm. Yeah, also I like kind of going back and trying more anime style things because since I'd taken a break from focusing on it specifically, but then focused on just art in general, like it's made it a lot easier to come back to. Like I feel like I've still improved a lot since then. So I like that it's like, oh, I could actually kind of draw this now. But I still feel a little bit behind, I guess, especially because there's like TikTok tutorials and such, which are really good, but also, I mean, not all of them, but basically there's just so many online resources for drawing that I didn't have or I didn't know about when I was little. So it's a little bit overwhelming, like, oh, there are people like at the same level as I am who are like 10 years younger, and that's totally fine, but I feel like I need to catch up. It's like there are a lot of drawing tips that are just more readily available versus I did have a couple drawing books, but I feel like a lot of it was kind of on my own. And like even with I mean art school I feel like helped a lot, but like they didn't teach us specifically anime drawing. And I feel like there are a lot of like little tips and tricks and details that I still had to figure out on my own, even though I'm technically not self-taught like in general. What am I gonna do? Her hair. Let me see, for hair, I think I want it to also kind of reflect like the cone idea, I guess, but without being too silly. You can still give like a part there, and then it's kind of like, no, not that. I'm gonna play around with this a bit. How awesome. That's perfect. Like I love when like things come together like that. Like just like any opportunity to like draw or design your own things for other things. Like it's surprisingly useful, I feel like, and maybe not surprisingly, but like being able to draw and design things. It's just like I guess it feels huge when it comes to like marketing and such, because like if you were just selling some other business or service, like you might need to hire like a logo designer and then like someone to coordinate all the brand elements and then someone to design like any other assets you want, and or like a book cover, or like figure out fonts. I don't know, but it's like, oh, I can just do that all by myself because I know what I'm doing. Like I'm not a designer, so it's like I don't have like as much professional experience with that, but it's like I have learned how to do these things, and I feel confident in being able to for myself. So it's nice. Being an artist is nice. Oh yeah, that's great too. I'm sure they'll appreciate that. Hang on. Something I don't like about this hair, and I'm not sure how to fix it yet. This hairstyle doesn't really make a lot of sense because I wanted to just kind of be just the curves, I guess. But then where does it end? Does it end? I feel like this hairstyle would have to just be infinite. I don't like this forehead. I don't know, I like using geometry as like a starting point, but the hard part is like actually working it in to make it look decent, I guess. Let me see. What is you post fake players? That's funny. I like that idea a lot. I feel like I've always enjoyed that sort of thing. Does anyone notice, or like do they mind, or do they leave them up? I know the library has a board for things, but like things have to be approved before you can post it. But I'd love a board that's just all, that would be a fun project too, or like a fun almost like world building exercise maybe, of like a fake board for a place that doesn't exist, but what sorts of flyers you would see in that place. I like that idea. Yes. That's great. And yeah, and like I guess technically I guess they say like with any sort of figurative drawing you're supposed to like start with geometry, or like that can help you with anatomy and whatnot, but like it's more like here's an interesting shape, or here's a concept. I want to make something out of it instead of using it as like a simplified form, it's like I guess it's kind of working backwards. It's like instead of simplifying things first and then drawing them to make them more complicated, it's like starting with something that's already simple and then just doing something with it. I don't really know. I don't really know what that would be considered, but I think it's fun. Okay, I don't mind the space. Yeah, exactly. It's like just start with circles or like ovals. Everything is ovals, except it's not. I feel like anatomy is definitely one of the harder things to learn, or one of the like it doesn't. Well, I guess I've never been able to like memorize all of the bone except for okay. I'm like backtracking to like something completely unrelated, but like I feel like for anatomy, it's for me it's been very much based on doing it to learn it rather than like just studying it and then understanding how to do it. Like I feel like I haven't had a very easy time. Like I've learned some tips and tricks, but like I feel like I've only really been able to learn it by doing it. I was gonna say theoretically, if I learned all the bones and had like a better sense of where things were, I feel like that would be helpful, but I also have a really hard time memorizing that many things for longer than like a week. I was gonna say technically I did actually memorize all the bones at one point, but like that was for a high school class and I immediately forgot it after that. But I think it would be certainly useful, like if I actually knew where all of the muscles were and all of the bones and everything like that specifically. I think that would be very helpful, but I haven't found a good way to study that I can keep myself accountable for, I guess. Like it's been, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this hair. I feel like in the back it might be kind of infinite, but then like in the front, is it still infinite? I don't think it is. I guess I could just like have it be a cutout also. Yes, okay. Basically, it's like I feel like I'm getting to a point where like I'm pretty comfortable with anatomy, but I'm still not like a master by any stretch. Like I'd like to theoretically be able to like actually understand everything underlying it. And like I feel like I do for like some of the important parts, but a better understanding would also be good. Ooh, coffee time. Yes, coffee, except I actually have Neo, just like caffeinated water flavor. I think I was gonna say I don't know if there's a generic term for that, but I think the grocery store just calls it water enhancers. But that sounds weird to me. Although I guess it's not wrong. Okay. And now I want it to have more eyes, or I want to put an eye somewhere. I put it in the middle. Like I was gonna put an eye just in the middle, But now that there's also this thing intersecting it, I don't know how that will affect it. I'm also kind of thinking about, in The Sims, there's like, or The Sims 3 specifically, there's like a robot outfit that's like, yeah, treadmill is, yeah, I suppose it is. I can understand my legs a bit better. This is scrap paper. But I guess I would still need to like look at more diagrams. I feel like hands and feet, I think, are going to be the hardest thing that I still need to work on, and maybe understanding muscles will be good. I feel like it's mostly like arms and legs. Arms and legs alone, I think, is probably what I'm most comfortable with drawing-wise. But like the body's more than just arms and legs. So it's fitting it all together. But in The Sims 3, there's like an outfit for robots that's like just like a triangle skirt, and then it's like arms and legs. But then like the middle is like just like a little glowing ball. I want to try to do that. Oh yeah. Honestly, like I'd still like to do that at some point, but I feel like I've been having a hard time because I haven't done it myself recently. Mostly because COVID, I guess, so I haven't really been going to my gym. But at the show I'll probably still be selling those. I feel like I've been kind of all over the place. Like I'm sure that like it's probably not as all over the place as it feels, but I don't know. Like I want to try to figure out what I like, I guess. I feel like ultimately what I like is making it just weird and surreal, but like I don't know how to, almost like I don't know how to specialize in that, or like it feels like weird and surreal is so vague that like if I just do that, I feel like it doesn't look cohesive, or like I don't know how to bring everything together. But I guess like I'm guessing it'll just kind of do that on its own if I don't worry about it. It's just taking a while. Or it just will take a while. So I feel like things are definitely starting to kind of come together. Like I feel like I kind of started getting a sense of what I like to do. Like I feel like the first pieces that I really feel like, yes, I like this, this is mine, and this is what I want to do, are things that I made probably junior year of college. So like since then, I feel like it's been figuring out how to do more of that, but also how to either make it marketable or at least like make it something I can identify and point to, if that makes sense. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about buying it online. I guess I thought you would just go to a store and then like pick something out there. So I don't even know what stores, I don't know what stores there are there. I'm sure there are many. So that may make it easy because then you can just be like, "Hi, here's the thing I bought. Please give me thing." I don't know, I would be nervous. Like, I guess I'm just nervous in general communicating in other countries. Like actually, yeah, the only place that I've been where I'm like comfortable enough like talking to people at stores or like asking questions or something is probably Japan, and that was when I was with a group of people. So like if something went wrong, I could just theoretically be like, "Hey, say something else." But like when I'm in France, it's pretty much like I usually or I only have visited there with my parents. So whenever I go there, it's usually like my dad will translate everything. And I haven't really had to be on my own or buy things on my own. So I think most of the time we're actually just staying with my grandparents, so like we don't necessarily go to a lot of stores or like everything's taken care of basically. Actually, I want this to be looking forward. But like in Norway, like I don't know. I don't even know. I don't think I know any of the language, so I don't even know where I would like how I would start. I feel like with French, I feel like I know maybe a couple words, or at least I can understand a couple things. I've been trying to study it. Like I have been taking like some very basic courses on it or with an app, but it's still like very, very little and I'm not really comfortable speaking it yet. It's more just I want to be able to understand what people are saying. Yeah, and true. That was yeah, it's like travel is hard, but it's definitely rewarding at the same time. I guess it's just like getting to that point. Um, okay, I feel like I could use more eyes, but I don't want to overdo the eyes. I think I'll just okay. I think I want to color this, but I'm not sure. Let's see. I have to think of some details. Maybe I could do like leggings that have like an eye pattern. Yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, actually, I'm not sure if it would make more sense to do this in pencil or yeah, I think pencil first. Um, I'm thinking of how this is gonna. If I want to do like an eye pattern, I think I could do this, but then I just do multiple of those and then what goes in the middle. Like this sort of thing. Or I could just do a bunch of circles. Mm, I think I'm overthinking it. And I think I will want to use acrylic ink because that's what I have. Let's start with this. It's not going to be too big. I almost feel like that should be smaller. Basically just imagining a pattern that's like little strings of eyes. So like almost like a DNA thing, but then you just fill them in. I don't know. It's weird, but I think it'll make sense. Or I could do that as like some sort of accent on the dress. Maybe like this. It would only be like half eyes. I like designing clothes, but I don't like actually making them. Mm. I wish I'd planned this out a little bit more maybe, but I don't know. I had a hard time thinking of anything other than this. Like I wanted to plan something a bit better or something else or like something more involved maybe rather than like just a sketch, but this was all I could think of and I'm like, no, I need to do this. Let's try this. I think part of it's I just need to go with it. I'm also trying to make it easier by like doing this in waves, but I might be making it more difficult. I wish I had like a pattern or texture fill brush, I guess. There's actually a couple patterns like in The Sims 3. There are swatches in The Sims 3 that you can use, and some of them either I like or I feel like they would work for this at least. Mm. Yeah, I think I'll just keep going with this. And then the inks, I just have yellow, cyan, magenta, so theoretically I should be able to do any color I want really, but I'd like to keep it limited to a couple. I think definitely blue, maybe like blue-green, or I guess the eye could be, I haven't really thought about the eye color. I'm gonna test this out just by filling it in with pencil. Make it eyes. I'm trying to find more ways to like incorporate like Zentangle elements. I've made a couple of those that I like, and I think they're relaxing and fun, but they're not like what I normally do when I'm trying to make art, if that makes sense. It's like I like them, but it's usually like specifically as a way to relax and like draw without thinking about it, rather than like, oh, I want to make something. Like it's very much only on the process versus product. So I'm trying to think of how I can incorporate it more. Honestly, this is distracting me. Okay. I think I'm just gonna go over it in blue, and then I can always paint over it in white as well. I'm thinking like blue and white. I'm thinking like graph paper is what I'm thinking. Ooh, thank you for hydrate. Ooh, and thanks for stopping by. I'll see you later. Hydrate is so important. Have fun, you too. I cleaned out this palette, except for this, but that's... Ooh, let me record on my phone actually. Before I forget, I do still want to do some time-lapse, hyperlapse videos. hard to adjust this, but rather it's hard to keep it still, but that should help. Okay. Also, I think, real quick, I think I do want to put that pattern on the dress, but then just make it light. I'm gonna try too big. I don't want it to take away from the eye that's already there. No, I think it's gonna be okay. Okay. I think I know what I want to do. Could just start with like a trim. I know when I was little, I really wanted to do fashion design, but I think like I just never really liked sewing, and that's like the main part of it. I mean, I guess maybe not, depending on how what you're making specifically. But it's like it's a big important thing, especially at least if you're studying it and want to be a fashion designer. Sewing is kind of important. But I just never like I feel like I've learned to sew a couple times, or I've learned a little bit, but I always forget, and it just never really stuck with me. Do you want to do just that trim, or yeah, this pattern? Mhm. Almost like waves, like some sort of ocean thing, but I think I'll change that, or that will change, but I think this is what I want, so. It does remind me of like a specific, I guess, yeah, a specific texture in The Sims 3. I was gonna say wallpaper, but it's not necessarily wallpaper. I think by default it's one of the wallpaper textures, but you can use it for anything. Which is one thing that I liked but also didn't like about The Sims 3, which is you could customize pretty much everything, and there were textures you could pick from, but like it wasn't limited what you could use them for. And of course I liked it because it's a lot of customizing, but also I feel like I got kind of overwhelmed with it. Like I also like being able to just pick a swatch and not worry about it. Instead of like I would be like everything has to match, and now I've spent 5 hours making sure this entire house matches and it looks terrible because there's no variation. But I have to. I'm like trying to do the same thing that I literally just did, but for some reason it's not working out like I want it to. It just needs to be shifted a little bit. Oh, I think part of the problem is like I didn't make this as large. I didn't extend this out as much. That's But I like The Sims 2. I mean, I feel like that's a very common common opinion that Sims 2 is best. But like they had just the right amount of swatches. Like enough variety without being overwhelming. And eventually The Sims 4 kind of got there, but only if you installed everything, and even then it was kind of questionable, or there would be like things that looked like it should be the same swatch, and then it's like slightly different. And that's like the closest you can get to matching things, and it's like, what, why? This is the default swatch, why does it not match? But that's just me being picky. Out a little bit. Okay. Up, down, up. Still feel like this pattern looks a bit weird, or like it, since it's reminding me of the wallpaper, I can only imagine it like in that specific like pink-ish red combination. Basically, it looked kind of like bacon the way it was colored. I don't know how to describe it other than that. But I didn't like it as a wallpaper. But I think it's contextual. Okay, I'll have to fill these in anyway, so I'll just leave it outlined until I color over it. And maybe I'll... Okay. Make it a bit sketchy. Okay. That's fine. I think I'll let it fade a little bit where this plane is. Does this plane go through this eye? So I feel like it would have to. Yeah, but then I'll just make it like that, so it's just fine. Okay. Maybe take some of this paper towel. This is really soft paper towel. Like, it feels like a thick tissue. Like, I know that's kind of what all paper towel is, but like as opposed to like this one even, which is like has a pattern in it and it's kind of rough. This one's actually really nice and soft. I don't know what brand it is. I think got it from somewhere. Okay. I think I got it from my mom because we were doing ceramics things and I needed to wrap them, so I put them in this paper towel, and I think that's what she had, so she has fancier paper towel. And I have water and ink already here. I think I want to do just like a blue wash. To be a little bit careful on this paper because it's not really... I don't know what this paper is made for. I think it actually is just sketch paper. I actually got it from a friend when we were cleaning out our studios at the end of the year at school. She was just like, hey, I have some extra sketchbook paper I don't want. Do you want it? It's kind of messy. And I'm like, yeah, I do kind of want it. I don't care if it is messy, I will use it. On the back first, but that's okay. Actually. Actually, I'm gonna tape it just to maybe help it a little bit. There's a sketch on the back, just ignore it. It's a very rough sketch, so like I'm not gonna do anything with it. Don't know if it matters if I tape it at this point because it's already a little bit warped, but I think it still helps at least with the overall warping versus small warps. Jose! Jose is here. Hi, Jose. Welcome. Like, thinking about sitting on my lap. He'll probably jump up. Yes, Jose? Yes? You can sit here. You don't mind that I'm painting? You probably will mind that I'm painting. Oh, I didn't realize my phone was like right in the camera. Thought I checked for that too, but I guess not. Here you are, Jose. Here is Jose. Hello. There's not really a lot of room for him to sit on this table, but let me make some space just in case. Some stuff over. Trying to see where to set things. I even got another table behind me and it's already like covered in stuff. Okay. Art is messy. Okay. Jose seems pretty comfy on my lap. I feel like he'll want to move though once I start painting. You can stay there for now. I'll need to water this down a lot if I want to because these are very bright. Do not get ink on the cat. For just a little bit. I'm not really sure how, like, what specifically acrylic ink is because I feel like it's just like acrylic paint but at a specific consistency or something, but it's not that simple. Okay. New dropper for water. And then make sure it's really watered down. Yeah, this should still be kind of wet, but I did dry it a little bit. So I want to be sure it's still wet enough. That's true. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Sometimes I'm like, wait, is that just like a sketch? Is that part of the sketch, or is that a piece of cat fur? Or is it both? Aw, Jose. He's like nuzzling his face into me. Being all cute. Oh, I forgot to actually record that on my phone. It's alright. Whoop. Whoop, Jose. Whoop. What are you doing? What are you doing? Please. Okay. Cat! Yes. Okay. Are you comfy, Jose? Aw. Big purr. Okay, he seems comfy, but then like when I start painting, that can not necessarily be the most comfy because I'm kind of reaching over him, trying not to squish him against the table. Not really. Okay, Jose. Okay. And I want to add some more to this, but let me see how that will work. Whoop. Are you comfy? I'll also want to blow dry this. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a way I can do that without Jose getting annoyed. But I'll start here. Start filling this out. And this can be sort of transparent and then kind of fuzzy. I don't know. I didn't really have a plan for this, so kind of making it up as I go, but I feel like that's everything, or everything I do with art is like a little bit experimental, but it varies just how much. Like some of it I'll want to plan most of the details in the sketch and everything and the colors, but some of it's just like I don't know what this is going to look like at all. And this was one of the I don't really know what this is going to look like. The only thing I really planned was like the cone and then maybe eye. Okay. Spread this a little bit. Okay. Kind of like this spreads a little bit. And I don't know if I can reactivate this. I don't think I can. But let me see. Like once this dries, I'm pretty sure it's just like it's acrylic, so it's yeah, I can't reactivate that. I'll have to clean that off with alcohol or something. Okay, Jose? Jose, you're kind of in the way. I mean, he's not like super in the way, but I do want to blow dry this, and I think he'll not be very happy about it. Okay, maybe I'll just keep going with blue. I don't have to move too much yet. Eventually, I'd like to do more like collage things as well, but I just don't know what to do yet. Like, I feel like I have a lot of things that I'm like, I should use this for art, but then, like, what? What do I, what do I art with this? Jose, are you getting annoyed? You can see his tail move a little bit. And it blended into her face a little bit. but I also didn't really have a plan for that. I actually kind of like using this blue as like an underpainting, and then maybe I'll just do like black and white over it. I think that's what I'll do. Fur. No, when it dries, I can probably. Oh, there we go. Jose, you're so fluffy. You have too much fur, Jose. He does have too much fur. I need to brush him more often, if you will let me. He lets me sometimes, but I have to like pet him at the same time. If it's just the brush, he'll be like, no. And like if I pet him at the same time, he'll tolerate it for a little bit longer. Oh, okay, there you go. Bye, Jose. He's behind me. I heard him jump on the table behind me. Could do this as like